The Area Truck Series playoffs continue. Round 2 of 5 at Kansas Speedway. Unlike last week, though, after this week, we're going to eliminate 4 drivers before we move on to the next 2 rounds of the playoffs before that final round that will finish off the season. Hi, everybody. Kyle Hire, joined by Connor Horn tonight in our first of the elimination rounds here in the Area Truck Series playoffs. And Connor, last night, the Cup Series traded us to a pretty exciting finish. But tonight, the trucks take on Kansas for 120 laps. And I think we're in for an interesting scrap. 2 drivers are locked in. John Hall, by virtue of his win last week at Bristol, and of course Jake Matheson by virtue of just finishing highly there and put himself well above the rest of the field. They've got nothing to worry about tonight, but there's a handful of others, Connor, that have lots of work left to do.
Yeah, plenty of drivers who still have plenty of work to do, as that cut line is not too tight, but it could get even tighter as we go later into tonight. It is going to be interesting. You can see on the right of the screen, Matheson Hall in green. They're good to go. You got Travis Beckner, 25 to the good, and then I believe it's Michael Curhan, 16 points above that cut line. But then you got guys like Brad Slaughter. He's very high in qualifying right now. All those guys below that cut line will likely need the win tonight, barring something crazy as far as points go. But if we do get a winner from below the cut line, 3rd place through 8th place in the points, separated by only 9 points. It'll be a fight between those 6 to not be the odd one looking out, but that's only if we get a new winner outside that cut line tonight.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring up the point. The cut line isn't really actually all that close in comparison to last night, but if someone like Brad Slaughter or Justin Anasogak or Jacob Bell find their way up to the very pointy end, things could really shake up with how tight everything is at the top of the order. So that's something to keep our eyes on, absolutely. Qualifying's already been underway for a bit, and 17 trucks have put down time so far. The rest still have some time left to get their times. See, as the clouds come over the speedway, track temp's pretty low, 90 degrees Fahrenheit as opposed to much warmer yesterday. Just a breeze out of the south, about 6 miles an hour. Drivers on the left in green, they are through to the next round. Matheson and Hall are those 2. Anyone in yellow is above the cut line, but not locked. Anyone in red has work to do. Brad Slaughter, as you pointed out, Connor, he is doing very, very well. A win would save him tonight. He's putting himself in the right spot to do just that.
Yeah, the 2-time Truck Series champion is no one to mess about, as he's very fast tonight. He's actually very close on time with John Hall, but they both just got beat by non-playoff driver Justin Munsell. We've always seen how fast Munsell is. He could have won again last week. Seems like a broken record. We're always talking about Justin Munsell. He could win tonight. He could win tonight. So much bad luck. He always could, because he's very, very fast, but just something seems to go against him all the time, whether it's trucks or the Pro Series as well. So we'll see if he can do any better tonight as we look at Michael Curhan qualifying 5th. How about Michael Curhan last night? Once again, one of the top 5 closest finishes in area history. He did it over Jake Nichols, a thrilling finish. I tried battling him, and he pulled 13 seconds on me, but he had a great night last night.
Happy birthday, Connor, by the way, says Michael Curhan. Here's my excited, sad, and angry face since I don't have any emotions, apparently. We were giving him hell last night for not looking all that excited, all things considered. That was pretty wild. That's pretty. There he is. Showing us all the emotions at once, Connor, because last night, I guess, for our wasn't enough for us, apparently. So there's the thumbs up and a smile.
Kind of reminds me of Paul Menard.
A little bit. He does have that look to him. He is going to have to go back to work tonight, though. Doesn't need to win to get in, and didn't need to last night either, but he put himself in position. And where did that speed come from? That was almost out of nowhere. I mean, we've seen him run very well, but the challenge, the 73 of Jake Nichols like he did last night, that's hard for anybody to do.
Yeah, Jake Nichols doesn't lose a lot of races on speed very often, especially in that fashion. Usually he's one of those guys that gets that done and does that to you. But Michael Curhan, as far as the Cup Series is concerned, he definitely just put himself on the map as far as being a championship contender. If he gets to Chicagoland, he's going to be tough to beat. But it's not the case tonight, or at least it could be. I won't say it's not quite yet. He's definitely a contender in Cup, but we still got to 3 more races before we get to Chicagoland in this Truck Series. And he doesn't have too much work to do tonight, but he's still in a good spot as we look at David Weishart. He also doesn't have too much work to do, but you cannot have a very horrific night. Travis Beckner was in a very tight spot after he had a speeding penalty and whatever else happened to him last night. I couldn't see from behind me, but he was one of those playoff drivers who was not in a good spot last night, who came in above the cut line. He didn't end up advancing, but he doesn't want another night like that. Yeah,
Travis Beckner is right there. We've also got Bryce Senesac and Justin Munsell on camera tonight. We'll keep our eyes on them as the night progresses. We're going to head down to the racetrack here as the warm-up is skipped, and it's almost time to go racing. As we get set to go racing tonight, race fans, be sure to subscribe to the Area iRacing Twitch channel. As a subscriber, you'll have Area iRacing emotes to use in the chat. You'll also earn double channel points as a subscriber that you can use to redeem for free merchandise, all at the price of just $5 a month. And looking to eat healthier in 2024 without having to spend extra money? HelloFresh is here to help. Choose from over 40 calorie-smart and protein-smart meal options each week. Every meal arrives pre-portioned, giving you less time to prep and more time to enjoy your meal. HelloFresh also gives you free breakfast for life with an active subscription. What are you waiting for? Click the link to get started with America's #1 meal kit today and use the coupon code to save 50% off your first box. You'll do that at twitch.tv/Area iRacing and in chat, !HelloFresh. And let's time to roll through our starting lineup here this evening before we get rolling for 120 laps, which will take us about an hour worth of time if we go flag to flag green. Justin Munsell, outside of the playoffs, puts the thing right on the point. He'll start first alongside John Hall, last week's winner. He's locked into the next round. Nothing to worry about tonight.
Different story in row number 2, though, of Brad Slaughter Jr. He likely needs a win tonight. He's done it before. He could do it again. He starts third alongside another non-playoff driver, Sam Fontaine, another great qualifying run.
And 2 more playoff competitors in row 3. Michael Curhan, last night's winner in the 24. Can he recapture that magic? Jake Matheson, locked in on points alone. He's through to the next round at that number 52.
7th position, another pair of playoff drivers, this time 2 drivers who need to just have decent runs tonight. David Weishart in the 33 and Travis Beckner in the 28. 2 drivers who did not fare that well last night.
Bryce Enesak starts 9th in the 09. Justin Anisogak in the red. He could use a win tonight. He might take one. He starts 10th.
11th place, Eric Weiland in the 21. Joshua Balliet, another driver above the cut line. He will start alongside the 21. He starts in 12th. Eric Weiland starts 11th.
Mason Kane, 13th in the number 31. Bronson Stafford rolls off 14th in his number 61 Tundra.
15th place, finally, a row with no playoff drivers. Actually, no, Shane Therian once again. He is a playoff driver.
I forgot to fix that. I
That's
knew
2
there
in a
was
row.
something I had to fix, but I forgot
2 in
that
a row.
one. I know.
He's 15th place.
I was in a
Colin
rush.
Farnborough starts 16th. I know.
And 17th place, Garrett Grant in the number
Sorry,
5. Yeah, sorry, Shane. Dylan Lee in 18th in the number. I knew that there was someone I had to fix, too. I just couldn't remember who it was. Sean Peachin in the 69 rolls off 19th. Joey Chapman starts 20th in the number 60.
21st place is Greg Mitchell, and then maybe the furthest back as far as the playoff drivers, Jacob Bell. He needs a great run, maybe a win, but he starts all the way back in 22nd place.
And 23rd is Ryan Swan in the number 20. Ryan Nowicki starts 24th in the 74.
25th place will be Jason Dalton. 26th place to Toyota Tundra TRD Pro. That's Bobby Tinch.
And the last row, it's Casey Lakatos in the 50 and James Scioli in the number 7. Let's make our picks. Oh, boy.
I'll let you go first. I think I know who I want to pick. Maybe I should go?
Yeah, go.
Honestly, he's on a streak. I'm going Michael Curhan. I think he's
okay.
got speed.
All right.
I gave you the chance.
I know you did.
I
I'm
gave you
going
the
to go
chance.
with Jake Matheson. I think he's going to take the win tonight at number 52. We'll see how he fares. He's already locked in, but I don't think that's going to hold him back at all tonight. 120 laps is the race distance here this evening. Again, 1 hour, 1 minute if we go flag to flag without any issues. We went caution-free last night. Can we do it again tonight at Kansas Truck Series? Playoff racing, round 2 of 5, we're underway. Into 3 and 4 for the first time. Munsell pulls ahead. Brad Slaughter Jr., though, trying to go the long way around. We're 3 wide for the lead. Curhan on the bottom.
Who's going to get that bonus point? It was close, but I think, no, it was Justin Munsell barely, but he's now in the middle in a bad spot, 3 wide.
This is frantic racing up at the front of the field here. Can we survive this? It was frantic at the start of the Cup race last night, but it ended up going single file and turned into a strategy race. We haven't been here since season 1. It's been a long time since the trucks have graced the banks at Kansas. There's Justin Munsell now stuck in the middle. Look out for the 33 on the bottom.
That was very tight. It's been since season 2. No races the last 2 seasons. No former winners in the field either. Spin in the back. It's Ryan Swan around. Caution's out. And it doesn't look like anyone else got involved.
Ryan Swan looks like he's the only truck, as you pointed out. Let's have a look at it on the SimRap Market replay and go maybe top down to see how this starts. There's the 60 at Chapman. And right there, it's kind of
Oh, yeah.
came together there.
product of having an apron to use. Sometimes people will assume that that driver on the bottom will use it, and if that doesn't happen and you're anticipating it, it's going to cause an accident. But everyone got through all good, really no damage, and Michael Curhan gets the early lead as finally this week we have a caution.
Yeah, and we have to chase the pace car down too.
Yeah.
This will give me an opportunity. I've already, in the background, been working on fixing my Therian mistake. Oh, him, I think, this week, so let's fix that. Could be sorted by the restart here. But Curhan off to a strong start. That was a good pick, Connor. What is it about this racetrack? Because, obviously Curhan's got speed every week, but, last night was keeping pace with Jake Nichols, who's multi-time champion. Is there something about this racetrack that a driver can latch onto and find some speed that you otherwise wouldn't be able to have?
I don't really quite know, but if one thing's for sure is that he figured out how to save like the best of them. Usually where everyone else gets beat as far as speed is not the long run. Like me and Seth Knoll, we were very fast long run. We were even, if not faster than all those guys ahead of us long run, but it's about going faster while saving. And that's what Michael Curhan figured out. He was, whatever line he was running, I thought he was running the bottom. He might have been running the top. He was gone before I could even really pick up what he was doing. But it's the saving the tires and going fast. If you can do both of those, if you can save the tires and run for the lead at the same time, that is a dangerous combination that will make you a title contender and make you a contender for wins week in and week out. I don't know if it's track specific, but no doubt Michael Curhan figured it out last night, and he could use that to his advantage again. He's already in clean air with the race lead, but I don't think we're going to see the leader pull away as we did last night. The leaders, I mean. So we'll see if it's a little bit different in the trucks tonight. Yeah,
we will see. And this is a track that last night we saw go green for 140 laps, despite a couple close calls. We've seen one caution so far. Is this a sign of things to come, or do you think it's going to look a little bit more like we saw with the Cup race last night where we get a long green flag run?
I would not be surprised if it takes us a while to get that green flag run going. It is going to be a little bit tougher. I think we're going to see these trucks a little bit more packed up, maybe a little bit cooler, but it's really just the lack of off-throttle time that these trucks are going to have. Even in the Cup cars, it was pretty fast, but you were still having to get off the throttle, at least to save the tires. If you weren't doing that, you'd go backwards like we saw a number of drivers do as the long runs went out. So I think we're going to be a little bit more packed up today.
Cars rolling around. We should get to 1 to green here pretty shortly. Everyone's on the lead lap, obviously, from that start. There we go. I got the 38 lit up in the right color this time. Third time's the charm. And cars are going to double up, re-rack and restack, and there go the lights on the pace truck. We'll get back underway. David Weishart also shot out of a cannon on the initial start, 7th to 2nd in 2 laps.
It's going to be important for him. He needs just to have a solid run. Don't do too much, but he's in a good spot right now. And he's got his teammate Slaughter with him. They could work together, maybe get the 8 victory, but Weishart's looking for another victory. His last win came at Michigan, and how chaotic that race was. Don't want to say it's going to be as chaotic today, but he's fast and he benefited at Michigan. He could do the same today.
Here's one thing that this track lends itself to is aggression. You can lean on the banks quite a bit. We've seen 3 and 4 wide plenty of times. I don't think anyone's really holding back on these starts and restarts, especially with the threat of those long green flag runs. Connor, you experienced it last night. We didn't get any restarts, but after the initial start, everyone spread out. It's very hard to get an upper hand on anybody there. So you kind of have to be aggressive on those starts so you don't lose any opportunities to move forward.
Yeah, I don't think me being aggressive would have got me many more spots. I think 4th was my peak. But I did try 2 tires to try to gain track position. Battled Curhan for a little bit there. Maybe we see more strategy if we get that green flag run. Maybe even if we get a late race restart, we might see drivers take 2.
Well, Adam Jabay in Grid Life always says, don't try to take a 4th place car and make it run first. It won't do very well. Green flag, and we're back racing here at Kansas in the Area Truck Series playoffs. And Curhan, Weishart, off into turn 1. There's the 6 of Justin Munsell. He got put in a sucker hole early on and trying to rebound here on the outside lane, but still going backwards.
He did lead a lap, but yeah, put in the middle immediately as Balliet makes a big move on Beckner to be inside in the background. But yeah, you lose control of this race early when it's already pretty full throttle seemingly. You're not going to have a good time, as this is going to be tough for him to not have that happen to him again. As meanwhile for the lead, Weishart looked to the outside, got to the outside of Curhan, but does not lead that lap. But he's got a push from Slaughter. Well, Slaughter, I don't know if he's getting a push from the 6 or trying to block. It's always a danger here at Kansas. If you want that high line, if you try to block it in the tri-oval, it could be dangerous.
Got a rare look on board Brad Slaughter. See the snap back leaving turn 2. He's got a big push coming to Michael Curhan here. Here's the 0-3 of John Hall to the bottom with Bryce Senesac right behind him. That got pretty dicey for a moment. 3 wide for third place.
As the top 2 get away, Weishart will get a bonus point. He'll lead a lap, but yeah, very tight at the front. When everyone's trying to keep the track position like this, it can get very dicey. So you have to be very careful and make sure you don't chop someone or lose the nose, lose the rear of the truck. It could be a huge crash. This is big one territory when they're running like this.
Yeah, it's one driver makes a mistake and no one else can miss it. We actually got pretty lucky with the Swan incident that no one got contact out of that. There's action all over the racetrack. Front, rear, middle. Slaughter way out of this.
Would you call this an action track?
I would call this an action track. They've all been lately. Been a really good season for competition. 5 of the top 5 best closest finishes have all been this season, and a handful of them in the Cup Series. Been really good. And actually the Florida State Builders Pro Series has also been pretty exciting this season. A couple within a few thousandths, yeah.
Literally 10,000ths, maybe less. But yeah, it's been a crazy season. Oh, we got spin back. Eric Grant is sliding. He saved it though. Swan's in the wall.
Yep, that's Ryan Swan up in the wall, just trying to keep it straight.
It's got spooked, I think.
Grant back to third as Weishart has the lead. Carolina Senesac's kind of in a bad spot. I don't like being in the middle that tight.
Cleared the 0-3 of Hall, so puts him back at least on the lower line, but Hall could swoop to the bottom at any point. The Senesac, he's kind of ran high there willingly, at least higher entry, but chops the nose of the 0-3 just to make sure he doesn't get under him, as these guys are tight off the corners, as they're almost looking 4 wide with Wineland on the way high line. But these guys, they're running every lane.
Yeah, Wineland running the top groove here, trying to find room to race. He's got the throttle pinned to the floor. That's the other thing, is that these trucks on fresh tires, you're nearly flat out. As the run goes on, you're going to lift more and more and more. Listen to Wineland there, just a slight lift to settle the truck, and then right back to throttle. You might be off throttle for a couple hundred feet, and then you're right back in it.
That's all it takes. You just a little bit of lift, maybe out of the throttle, maybe 40-50%, just to get the nose pointed, and it'll let you rotate that much better through the corner. So we're going to be seeing that this entire run. We might get at least close to a full lift if we get a full green flag run. Looking at this, I don't know if that's possible. This is crazy, and there's a lot of red banners in this pack too.
I said last night that the best race I saw that had the most exciting finish of the 3 I watched yesterday was in iRacing. That was the Cup race, the Area Cup Series. I was left disappointed by both the Daytona results. Look out, Sam Fontaine bounced off the wall, and Matheson almost got into him there in that 52. He has not gone forward much. He's gone backwards, actually, and I picked him, so he better do good tonight.
He's gone backwards. Jacob Bell has also not really gone anywhere. He's only up 1 position. One of those pretty much must-win drivers. Really the only playoff driver outside the top 20 right now. Therian might have hit the wall down the straightaway, but it is still intense and crazy at the front.
Mason Kane back there in the 31. Look at Beckner. That got a little tight out of turn 4 with Therian up on the high side there. We're rocking the red banner, and now the yellow number board finally. He's way up high. He entered the corner a couple inches off the fence.
You don't really want to do that. It's a little bit too tight if you enter too high on the track. And also these two have history, but on the exit of turn 2 as well, if you're a little bit too high on the exit, it'll also tighten up and not turn. So you really got to be careful of where you put your truck.
Whoa, Beckner right across the nose.
Don't want to do that to him. Look at this.
Well, think to their, was it the Pro Series last week?
Series, yep.
They're keeping track. I mean, Therian certainly is.
Therian thinks it's 1-0 Beckner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beckner, Fontaine in the wall, and Beckner's like, "What did I do? I won a race."
Yeah. It's always funny how the drivers keep their own record. That might be different from the general consensus, but often the only record that matters is the one that the driver has in their own head.
Exactly. So I think Beckner needs to be aware of what Therian thinks the record is, for sure.
I mean, they're both battling for titles right now, so they have to keep that in mind. That, you know, it's hard to separate things and have it be, you know, per series because the drivers are the same. But you know, is there any motivation, Connor, to keep emotions from flooding over from one to the next, or is it all the same to you? I mean, you have a different perspective on this because you're in the booth 2 nights out of the 3, but...
Yeah, I think if you're running different series, I think you would rather keep it in one series, but I think if it was me, it would be too difficult to do that. They kind of all group together because a lot of the field is the same all 3 nights. So you're racing them 3 nights for the most part. So I think they do end up boiling over eventually. It's just too hard not to. You know, obviously my situation, I run one race, so it doesn't matter, but yeah, I think all 3 end up grouping together as these guys, they might be battling all night at this rate. You think to Beckner and Scioli, those are another 2 that they do not keep it within one series. They've clashed in all 3 series this season alone, let alone last season's incidents. So it all groups together for these guys, I feel.
Well, sometimes it feels like you just got magnets. In the 7 in particular. He and the 28 have just had to run in after running after running. There's Dylan Lee in the center of this between Greg Mitchell on the outside and Beckner on the bottom. The front dozen or so have mostly single filed out as Dylan Lee is the last of that dozen. And we're going pretty green here, Connor. We're starting to stretch things out. We're not out of the woods yet, but this race will look very different if we can last another 10 or 15 like this.
Yeah, we're starting to see it get spread out, mainly because that bottom line is starting to become unusable. It's the line you want to use for tire saving, at least in the Cup car. But in these trucks, I'm not sure if it's going to help too much because you're almost full throttle everywhere. I think you'd still rather be down there for tire saving, but it's hard to say. But we are starting to see, as this run goes longer, just like last night, that groove moves up to the high line.
Mason Kane in the 31. Huckett Films Chevrolet. He's behind Sean Peachin in the 69. And then, again, Beckner and Therian door to door.
Therian got stuck on the bottom when it started going away, so he needs to find a hole up to start going maybe forwards again. Lost about 4 positions because of that.
Well, look at Dylan Lee right on the tailgate of Greg Mitchell. That was almost a little too close for comfort. And the field is drastically and very quickly moving up to that outside lane. The Cup race, we saw people trying the variety lanes all night long. It seems like it's kind of quickly turning monotone with everyone fighting for that outside groove.
If we do get a yellow after a long run tonight, you can bet that the jockeying next restart would be a lot more crazy than we already saw. As you see, that high line almost look way too dominant right now. As like you said, everyone's kind of moving up there, except maybe 2, 3, maybe 4 trucks on the bottom line. Those are drivers at the back just trying something. Looks like
car in the wall. Hard. Who was that?
I think it was Bronson Stafford that was looking at it. I don't think he hit it too hard. He got stuck against it, though.
Wow, it scared me coming by the camera shot like that.
Probably loud.
I'll wake you up. Always wondered why the camera guys that are right up against the wall, if they ever get spooked by that. And then I learned a lot of those are just controlled by Xbox controllers in a truck.
Pretty much. So at least the lack of jockeying position made me able to update the playoff grid for once, thank goodness, as it's not too crazy. With Slaughter at the front of the field, at least in second position, you can see it's still not enough. He's 5 back, even though he's running runner-up, so he is going. It almost certainly shows he's going to need to win, but if something happened to Balliet, that could be a different story, but still a long way to go.
Yeah, or Shane Therian, either of those are close. Actually, really Mason Kane, too. Any of 3 of those drivers drop to the tail and finish down the order or have a crash. That would change the calculus. But last night, remember Beckner's situation, he had a very bad night, but he didn't have a bad enough night for anyone to capitalize on it. So that's kind of what Balliet and Therian are going to hope on, is that even if they have a bad night, they can still salvage something to keep Slaughter trapped down there. Makes him nervous, though, to look up and see the 8 car in second place.
Yeah, he's really the only driver. Someone's in the wall there. Oh, that is, oh gosh, Mason Kane. I can't imagine that's the amount of damage he has, but the internet's not looking good, and he's falling back right now. He's not having a great run. He's falling back from top 10.
Oh, Becker crashes. Turn 4, puts the 2 in the fence, and Mitchell slows, and he's going to come back across the road. And I think he pulled the old Alt F4.
Oh boy.
See what happened here. Beckner just pulled a slider and.
Oh yeah. That doesn't work.
No.
You got to be clear for that. That's not going to go over well. Greg Mitchell, that's 2 weeks in a row in 2 different series where he's gotten a crash because not of his doing.
That's tough. I mean, once he hit the wall, that was pretty much game over anyway.
Yeah.
You might have been able to recover that, but I think that the frustration is understood there. But I mean, that's a move that you do on lap 119. Maybe.
Yeah.
But
he was not clear. He tried to force it, and it's kind of what's gotten Beckner in trouble with so many drivers. I think he just added another one to his list.
Yeah, I don't think Greg Mitchell will be stoked about that, but just
No,
early.
not
I
at
mean, again, like Bristol last time out, I think you could excuse moves like that on the last lap going for a win, but I don't know for, 15th, 20th place.
Yeah, I don't think it was right to do there. But thankful not to get a lot of other drivers in there. Dylan Lee did say he got a meatball out of that, was just shame. Not sure where he even hit, and also, yeah. But yeah,
incident?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Maybe
so,
because of the.
I
wonder if it was because of the two-car kind of ghosting down the road here. Actually, that was strange. We didn't look at it again.
He said he had 4 minutes of repairs.
I think maybe when he scrapes by here.
Probably hits to 2.
Oh, there was big net code there, I think.
It must have killed the suspension or something. That's a shame. As meanwhile, you'll get another replay of that. Just
want to see. Yeah, that was huge net code, actually.
That's a shame because he was running for a top 10 too, so his race is done because of that. It's single filed out for the top 10, but there is a stack up 11th on back. It's all in the top lane as Munsell goes to the bottom, but they are all stacked up behind Joshua Balliet right now.
Yeah, the 7 of Scioli's back here too. And just wanted to check back in on the points picture here. With the 7 not in the playoffs, and maybe it's a good thing because this is not a run that inspires a lot of confidence of your championship hopes.
In the story of his season, he once again came in late because of the college series that's taken priority over his Tuesday nights. He started dead last, made up decent time, but yeah, still struggling just a little bit to get through the field here, and that's because the top lanes become so dominant as the runs get longer. It becomes harder and harder to pass as we're 3 wide for second place as John Hall has saved his tires well, and he is ripping through these guys right now. He's going to go get 2 for 1 maybe.
Yeah, Munsell in the middle. And he's going to drop to 4th after initially climbing up the order there. I think he was in a pretty good spot, but kind of got split. And John Hall's going to try to slot ahead of Slaughter, but Brad will deny him that opportunity, and now Munsell's going to push the 8 back by. Weishart's loving this, though. Yes, boys, please fight.
But I've been saying that the top line's getting better as the long run goes, but if you saved your tires enough, it looks like that bottom line is the preferred place because John Hall makes up so much time. He can clear drivers on that bottom line and come up in front of them. Slaughter's going to try to go for the crossover to get that position back, but I think 0-3 saved his tires so well that he's going to get the lead in a short amount of time.
He has really done a nice job this season, has a handful of wins, most recently last week. He's going to drive up around the outside of the 8 here. I mean, this team in general has put themselves in winning order and right to the bottom ahead of Munsell, huh?
Yeah, Munsell goes back to the bottom. That 0-3, he saved his tires well. So much grip on that lower lane, and he could just pull up alongside the 33 and not lose momentum off the corner. Usually that driver on the top would just run right by you running the bottom like that, but just look how much more speed he can carry through the center of the corner. He's about to get this lead, but 1 and 2, a little bit of a different, more of a different radius. Tougher to make that move work, but he got close.
Watching David Weishart at work here. As you mentioned, it's been a little while since he's been to victory lane. I think he'd like to top off this round with an automatic lock to the next one. I said last night that in these 2-round eliminations, I would much rather win the first week of the 2 and go into that second week not having to worry about anything versus go in and, winning that second race. That's useful, but you still have all the stress going into that second race that you could not make it. So if you have the option, you do what John Hall did, or Jake Matheson points your way in, but you're going to win whenever you have the opportunity. I just prefer to be in the scenario of those in the green.
Gosh, Munsell, whenever they chop noses like that, I think it's going to be a big crash, but Munsell was clear, but John Hall close, so close to clearing. He is clear, so he's finally clear for the lead. Will Weishart battle him back? Doesn't look like he's just going to bump him, so 0-3 all the way to the front, and Jake Matheson slowly making his way up as well. I think Weishart lost track of it. Of the wall, tapped it.
You see that
all good, though.
Here a lot more than you think you would. You're just kind of following the guy ahead of you, driving through his windshield, and then bam, the safer barrier comes out of nowhere. And I can't remember if it's Las Vegas is another one where you just run flat out into the fence going down into turn 1 because you just lose track of where you're going.
I think Chicagoland, our season finale, is another one as well. Just when it's because usually you're fighting for the top at these tracks.
Yeah.
Not much of Vegas, but Kansas, Chicagoland, for sure, you're fighting for the top. So you're trying to get as high as possible. Then that wall comes out. You come out from behind someone, the wall's right there.
Benesac got close to it that time. Look at this fight up the hill. Jake Matheson and Michael Curhan.
Matheson has clawed back, gotten by all these drivers to get up here, trying to get through his teammate. Get through to his teammate.
Good lunge down to the bottom. He saved something here. He's back to where he started after all that.
And the same thing he tried to do last night. He just wasn't fast enough on the very first run while saving his tires to make it work. And then he had to pull a crazier strategy to try to make it work. So a little bit different tonight, and it looks like it's paying off.
Working lap 37 now. John Hall putting some distance on Weishart, Munsell on back. And very different lines. Again, we're seeing more drivers drop to the bottom later now, Connor. Remember, we checked in on the camera down here about 10, 15 laps in. Everyone was up high, and now it seems like, for better or for worse, drivers are splitting off one side or the other much more equally.
Definitely looks like it, which is a little surprising to me, but I think, I don't know, maybe the lack of off-throttle time would do something. This is going to be tight with Slaughter and Munsell. Munsell pulled the slider on him, and they made contact but kept it straight. Look at the run Curhan got because of it. That was tight. Oh, and he's going to hit him for it. He didn't like that out of two.
Munsell has his hands full.
And John Hall's loving his. Wineland's in lap 38. We didn't go over fuel strategy, but he must think 2 stops are better than a possible 1. I don't think we can make it to 60, so yeah, Wineland's in early.
Yeah, that seems like a long way to go. Splitting this into thirds instead of halves.
I would say so. We'll see who else he drags. He's, as far as I've seen, the first one to come down is Munsell's clear for third now.
Yeah, Skyly put on that first stop, but only took a splash of fuel. Lakatos and Ryan Swan did the same. Bronson Stafford and Bobby Tinch also came to pit lane for 4 tires as Slaughter Jr. is going to hit pit lane. So a 2-stop strategy for these guys. I would anticipate this being pretty...
Sorry, Anna Sogak and Peachin just hit in the tri-oval. Excuse me to cut you off.
No, it's what you're supposed to do.
That's my job.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Oh, Peachin was in the fence, and he's going to come down the racetrack and... Whoop.
A little odd.
I'll wake you up if you weren't paying attention.
I would say so.
Out in the Daytona race last night when Joey got taken out while he was leading.
Here comes the leaders, meanwhile.
You know, it was really interesting to watch Joey see the crash happening and turn right and still couldn't miss it, but saw it coming out of the door. So trucks on pit lane just past the 1/3 mark of this race. Maybe this will be the prevailing strategy here, and Wineland was just the first to break.
I think this will be. We were probably 63 laps if you didn't save in a cup tank, which is bigger than all the other tanks. So I'd be shocked if anyone even tries lap 60. I don't think it's possible. It looks like Carhan's coming in. Here comes Senesac, Fambro, Grant, so almost everyone else. Yeah, there's a good chunk of the field.
Only about a half dozen that have left to pit, so it seems like this will be a 2-stop strategy, one at lap 40-ish and one at lap 80-ish, and the rest will take you to the end. We have been green since the opening caution on lap 3, and 39 laps since.
And it's getting spread out just like last night as John Hall goes to the bottom of the track. 42 laps in, we will stay out another lap. With how far of a lead he got in a short amount of time, he will stretch the long run as much as he can. And a Sogak, Therian, Bell, 3 playoff drivers in. Jason Dalton follows. The points aren't updated as they run, but Mason Kane was back in 19th before pit stop started. He was 7 points ahead of Slaughter at that point. It's not updated once again, but he is not having a great day.
No, and again, just trying to minimize your bad days. And heard it said many times, and I agree with this, that your championships are not won by your good days. They're won by how much you limit your bad ones. And that doesn't mean not having them. You're going to have a bad day, but how bad is it? And can you make it less bad by changing the outcome, whether it be try a different strategy or just trudge through it? And it might stink to run around 15 laps down, but if there's a point to grab, that could prove to be a critical one.
Yeah, if Beckner could have just quit last night, he would have been out of the playoffs, probably. But that's not what you do. You got to run for everything you can. I can't remember how many times, like at Texas in 09, or like, where was it? Maybe Chicagoland or Kansas in like 2011 or whatever season that was, where Jimmy Johnson was always figuring out how to get a good finish out of a horrible day, or at least get points out of a horrible day. That's what wins a championship, and that's part of why he's 7-time.
Lap 45, and the front 5 cars still have yet to pit. Add Skyly, Lakatos, and Swan to that as well. 9th on down have made their pit stops.
A little shocked these guys are stretching it this far at the front, but
I just mathematically is the only reason why I'd wonder this. If they're going to pit, they're going to pit, but it makes the most sense to spread out your tire wear evenly over the course of 3 equal-length runs, generally. It doesn't always make sense to lopside your stints one way or the other unless you're trying a one-stopper, but again, I don't think that's going to happen with so many people. I mean, if there was half the field doing one and half the field doing the other, it's a bit more clear what the intention is, but so far I can't really discern what's going on here.
Yeah, I mean, they were for John Hall. I think it's all right because he's so fast. It's not going to hurt him too much. Matheson, Beckner are not too far behind, but it's a little more hurtful for them.
Here's the thing I can see is if you can overcut by 5 to 10 laps, you're going to have much better tires at the end of the race. And if you're anticipating it going green the whole rest of the way, which it very well could, then you want to have those good tires at the end of the race. You want to be on offense, not defense. And maybe that's a strategy. John Hall is going to come to pit lane this time and bring some others with him.
Just getting a longer undercut for the fresh tires. I understand it. Matheson follows him in, so will Fontaine, so will Peachin. As that will leave Beckner in the race lead to get the lap led, which could play a factor. We will have to see.
He'll get it counted, and he's the last driver who had not yet pit, under that yellow at least, to hit pit lane. There's still 3 others behind him, Scioli, Lakatos, and Swan. That pit on the yellow, but that was only 3 laps into the race.
Oh, whoa, Munsell chopped him there a little bit. They actually made contact. Beckner should be able to get in anyways, but that was close.
These guys are racing for what is going to cycle to be the lead here. Bronson Stafford is in the middle of it. He hit pretty early in reference to the others, about 9 laps sooner, but Slaughter drives right by. And he will cycle to take the top spot, as Eric Wineland is right here in 4th, or what will cycle to be that, but on fairly old tires as well.
He did not pit as early as Bronson Stafford. We didn't really note the 61 pitting. He pit lap 38, which is still early, but not that by that much. This could work out for him with how spread out it's gotten. James Scioli assumes the lead. He leads a lap, but he'll immediately come in the pit lane. Very fast on pit lane, but I think he did make it. That'll give Case Lakatos the race lead.
Curhan's back here with Joshua Balliet. They pit roughly together. The 0-7 won pretty big on that pit strategy, didn't he?
Yeah, he was before they started pitting about 11. So 3 spots for the time being.
He's going to gain another 3, so he'll be top 5 after they pass Lakatos, Swan, and Scioli.
And Lakatos looks like he's coming down this time. So Ryan Swan, who brought out the first yellow, definitely pit for tires as well. We'll go longer.
Slaughter and Munsell fighting for what will be the top spot. This is an important place to grab. Munsell's going to complete it and drop ahead of Slaughter.
Already made a little contact today, these two, at the end of the last run. Slaughter gave him a tap into 3 because he didn't appreciate the slide job, so they will battle extremely hard. I can only guarantee it. We'll see if Slaughter returns a favor. Sure does. Right in front of a 6.
Ooh.
And he'll block the bottom, force Munsell to go to the way high line. And Munsell swooped too much.
Slaughter, again, look at the number, color, it's red. He has to fight hard tonight. I mean, is it worth making an enemy? I'd say yes, because if you don't and you miss the playoffs, it was all for nothing. If you make an enemy, at least you might move on to the playoffs with the moves that you made. So as long as they count for something, I'm for Brad Slaughter driving out the mirrors tonight and making this truck as wide as he can.
Don't hit the wall, though. Yeah, I'm for it. You have to battle for it. You can. I think Munsell's probably going to get him at some point, but there is no reason for him not to battle hard for this position.
He's going to just run the long way around here to try to carry some speed. But Munsell's got him cleared, and we saw Slaughter take it back last time. He's going to do the same thing again, but Munsell goes defensive. Brad will try the outside.
We'll see if Brad can make that work. Munsell's just good enough around the bottom to clear him here, but once again, it's kind of like a recording. You always see the same thing over and over again. He's very willing to give the 8 that top line. He probably thinks if he runs the bottom, he'll save the tires a little bit better, so he's perfectly fine with letting that 8 go to the high line.
They have cycled back to the lead. This is the battle for the top spot. What does this look like last night? 2 drivers up front, side by side, lap after lap.
Yeah, over and over again. It is a recording. This is the exact same race, just in trucks.
History repeats itself.
Sure does.
Can't figure out which driver is what tonight, though. I don't know who's Jake Nichols and who's Curhan.
Find out at the end.
I think Curhan would like to be Curhan. Brad right back to the bottom this time.
You know what? David looked like they. Yeah, I was wondering if Weishart sped, and he's still a lap down. The 33 definitely got a speeding penalty, so that will be interesting to follow as I'm still trying to update the points best I can.
Oh, who got a speeding penalty last night? Travis Beckner.
Travis Beckner.
And he never got a yellow to recover from it.
No, he didn't.
That's not looking good for David Weishart. Bad night to have a pit lane violation. You have to be hitting your marks on a night with so much green flag racing. And I could easily anticipate this going green the rest of the way. This is a shocking number. If we go green from here to the end, 34 minutes. That's all we have left in this race. It's going to go by that fast. Maybe 36 because we got to factor in that pit stop.
Just have to see how it all plays out. As we're going to probably have drivers go long again on this second to last run. Maybe we see 2 tires. Someone tries it again. I'd be kind of surprised. I don't know how it's going to react in a truck, but I know in the Cup car, it's stuck.
Yeah, so what was the reason for that? What advantage did that give you? Was it just a handling and balance situation?
I mean, it did end up giving me better handling and balance, but in reality, I was 4th place with Seth 1 second behind me, and I had 10 seconds to 6th place. Nothing to lose. You know, as long as I got into pit road entry, I was going to be able to advance to the playoffs, and it handled fine. Jeremy Miller actually knew that strategy from open racing, and it worked for him for a little while, got him 2 below the cut line. So it made the car handled great. It fell off a little bit, but as far as trying to get a little extra track position, it was a good strategy call.
Bryce Senesac losing a spot to Justin Anasogak in the 88. That 88, another driver with the red number. Look at the situation. Look at the ticker. Top 10. All 3 of the drivers that are here tonight that are below the cut line are in the top 10. They are doing what they have to do, Connor. But the problem is most of those drivers will need a win if they want to move on.
And there, as far as winning goes, Slaughter's the only one close right now, and he showed the speed to do so. But he is half a second back of the 6 now, and you know those guys on the newer tires like John Hall will be there anytime soon. But John Hall is still 5 seconds behind as we get the lap number 60 and probably 20 to 30 laps away from another round of pit stops. We're 3 wide for this position. Anna Sogak looking strong. All of a sudden, he's in the top 5.
And John Hall's coming through. He's way back. I'm not convinced. I mean, we've got another 20.
Here we go. Whoa.
Oh, boy. I mean, he's 5 seconds back from the lead with a 7-lap tire advantage. Maybe this is worth doing, but I think he might have gone a little too far.
And same thing for Beckner and Matheson. A little bit too far and not as close to this battle as the 03 is. So they've also got work to do.
That's kind of the math that you're trying to sort in your head, is how long is long enough and how long is too long when you're doing that overcut strategy, because depending on the track length and the amount of time and amount of tire wear that you have, that calculus changes a ton. And we'll see if this pays off. He's running 3/10 quicker than leader at the moment, John Hall is. Half the race left to go next time by.
Yeah, they are clicking off very, very fast. As I gotta say, this is it's been good for Balliet so far. He's already still in the 4th position, but he does have a lot of faster trucks about to bear down on him, and that's going to be a little bit dicey.
Yeah, he's kind of the last of the 20-lap tire trucks in 4th. And the left-hand side of the screen in a moment, show you who is where as far as laps since their pit stop. And Munsell 20, Slaughter 21, Wineland 22, Balliet 20, and then you see John Hall with only 13. And so that's the Great Wall of China that John Hall's about to go trek.
I think Matheson's up to 9th. That puts the 77 of Jacob Bell. Will put him back to 10th as they're both gaining on the 09. 11th place, Shane Therian just got up to that position, trying to climb back through himself.
Almost 3 wide back here with the 61 in the middle. There's Beckner on the bottom, and then Weishart up top, who's just going to be clicking laps away. This is not going to be a fun night for him.
He's got to make sure he stays close to the front. Ryan Swan's not too far away from getting laps, so he has to try to make sure he's in lucky dog position.
He just needs a yellow. That's what he needs, and that would save him. But you have to know, based on last night, that is unlikely.
Apparently looks like it so far. Meanwhile, for the lead, Brad Slaughter Jr. just took it away from Justin Munsell, so he dropped back half a second, then got back by the 6, so we'll see what type of lead he can get together.
Yeah, that was a really slow lap for Munsell, actually. Let's go back and have a look at this.
He hit the wall?
I think so. Watch turn 3 and 4 here. Up the hill, does he jump the cushion there?
Oh, yeah, he did. It's a big mistake to make, especially from the lead. But he at least kept a clean truck, and he might still be faster than the 8, but now he lost control.
This might be that yellow that the 33 needs.
Oh,
Beckner in the middle of 3 playoff trucks. 77 of Bell and the 38 of Therian.
I gotta say, Weishart with that speeding penalty, the points are pretty much updated. Slaughter is, this doesn't show Slaughter as a winner yet, but right now, even if Slaughter is second, he's only a point behind Weishart, so Weishart needs to hope to get a lucky dog and maybe get some more positions, because he is very in danger.
But definitely don't make it worse, that's for sure. You better watch that pit lane speed, and it sucks as a driver to know that you have to be extra careful, because I always say, pitting at under green flag conditions at an oval, you can't really gain a lot, but you can certainly lose a lot. Almost everybody has got it maximized pretty well, but if you make a mistake and do it wrong, it will cost you so much more than it is worth to charge. So that's something that Weishart's going to have to contend with as we're back battling for the lead. Munsell wants it back, was not ready to relieve it yet. 2 Toyotas fighting at the front.
Yeah, he took it away from really himself, so he's going to have to try to get it back as Slaughter above the cut line as he leads, but Justin Munsell wants it, and John Hall lurks only 2.3 seconds behind and gaining.
Zogak and Beckner back here scrapping for a spot here too. Behind Balliet, who's just trying to cling to everything, but the leader, you cannot pull your eyes off these two. Probably about 5 laps away from the pit window opening as well.
Meanwhile, it's not been the same amount of pace tonight for Curhan. He's back into a 9th position. Still a solid night, but does not have that pace over the long run that he had last night in the Cup side of things.
Beckner and Balliet for 6th. This 28's found some speed here. He's got the freshest tires of anybody in the top 10, and it's paying off. So this is the most of an overcut anyone's done so far, and it's working.
I think I finally have the points updated. Weishart's out as they run.
Wow.
With Slaughter leading. So there are teammates, but Weishart's going to be rooting for Justin Munsell if he could see what we see right now, is Mason Kane not having a bad enough night to, defend, to help Weishart at all.
So let me pose this question. You're Brad Slaughter. You're battling Justin Munsell. You know the point scenario is if you win this race, your teammate's going home. Do you win this race?
Yes.
You're at the expense of your teammate?
Yes. That's not even a question.
I love how confident you are. You're definitely a race car driver.
I don't think it's a question. It should be in question even if you're a commentator. Teammates are out the window as far as playoffs go.
I mean, but both of them would be moving on to the next round. It's for the greater good, right?
Well, no. If Slaughter doesn't win, he's not making it. So
I guess I got my strategy from Karl Marx probably.
Mason Kane or someone else would have to have a bigger issue for both of them to advance. It seems unlikely for both of them to advance. It's one or the other, and if it comes down to one or the other, you're not giving them the spot.
Justin Munsell still trailing Brad Slaughter Jr. We've gotten these 2-horse fights both nights so far this week. 50 laps to go next time by. Eric Weiland's up to 4th place. He's just been quietly plugging away. He might lose the spot to Jake Matheson here, but he's had a decent night.
He was another one of those guys who came in a little bit earlier, and it has worked out pretty well for him.
Yeah, so Eric Weiland's on the extreme end of the strategy, and Travis Beckner is 2. They are 10 laps apart, and they're running right nose to tail on the racetrack. So what's the winning strategy if both of them have put them in the same spot?
It's going to be interesting because it seems like going short pitting is really working out for the top 2 as Beckner can't clear Wineland quite yet. That was a little tight out of turn number 2 and a little swerve to the 21, but I don't think you can undercut twice and make it work twice. I think you have to switch it up a little bit, but it's very possible that we might see Slaughter in a little bit earlier just because he needs to track position and he needs to win this race. But I don't think for the drivers like Wineland who undercut pretty heavily, I don't think he can do that again, but we'll see if he chooses to or not.
Beckner weaving back and forth. He seemed upset that the 21 was racing him. I didn't really see anything that they did wrong, but he's definitely on a mission right now. Look at the focus on his face.
Very, very focused. Always is. You got to be focused. You always talk about it with a wheel like that. He's got to be ready for calamity. You never know when that wheel could just snap, I suppose.
So,
still don't know how he does it.
Checking back on our math, John Hall is half a second back from the lead. And we are about 7 laps away from lap 80. So that means that in the 40 laps from lap 40 to 80, John Hall has gotten almost back to the lead. He's got a few more laps to get here. If John Hall gets to the lead before or on lap 80, I think this is cutting it too close, and I don't think he can overcut as much next time, Connor. I think he's got to be a bit more careful. It took him almost the entire run to get back here. That's a risk I wouldn't be willing to take the second time around.
It's really because of how crazy the pack behind was. They're sorted out now, minus that battle for, I think that might be 12th they're going 3 wide for, with Stafford, the lap truck, just getting through those guys. But yeah, he cannot give that gap up because he won't have a lot of time to make it up as well. We're going to hit a lap 120 and he might not be there in time. So I think whatever John Hall does as far as the race for the lead might dictate what Slaughter and Munsell do as far as tire strategy. We might see John Hall even try to beat them to pit lane.
Yeah, I mean, pit window's open here. Bronson Stafford pit 10 laps ago. He was one of the first to break. So maybe
he's almost on a 3-stop.
Yeah, I'm not sure I love that idea, but
no.
I think you could pit now and be fine if you were going to be on the front end of that strategy. And I think we'll see some in the next 2 to 3 laps. But I think I want to overcut. I just don't know if I want to do it as much as John Hall did it. I think what Slaughter and Munsell did, which is kind of middle of the road, might be the way to win this one.
That's what I would think, but you just never know what could happen. We'll have to see. It really comes down to if Hall can pass these guys easily or not.
I mean, imagine
he did get to be outside of Munsell.
Imagine this is lap 115. You know, this is the same scenario we would be in if everything happened the same on the second pit stop. So John Hall would be fighting for the win with 5 laps to go, and Brad Slaughter would absolutely throw the block on you to no end.
He would
in that
wreck himself for it, and he would probably at least get into John Hall for it. So you don't really want to have. I don't think you want to have to pass him for the win. But you also don't want to have to fend them off for the win, so you have to find that perfect medium to hope you're not doing either.
4 laps until that proverbial ending, and John Hall's going to have the lead, but just. So note that. Brad is not going to give this one up easy.
No, he's actually going to hang to be outside at least 1 more set of corners here, so important for him to also hold back the 0-3 as much as he can to help his cause a little bit more and hurt the 0-3's cause. 0-3 not fully clear. He's going to fight it and side draft him again.
This is important. In it. Yeah, this is an important fight just to keep him in distance. Any 10th that you slow him down now is a 10th you're going to basically effectively gain on him later.
Yeah. It's important because you look at the points. If he's second place, he's still 1 back of Weishart. So the way it's looking, if something else goes wrong, he could point in, but it's so unlikely. He's got to fight for this win regardless. It does not change his mentality at all.
And Weishart's almost as far down as he's going to get as long as he's running on the racetrack. So
yes,
provided he doesn't have another. I mean, the next truck is 17 laps down, so you have to crash out and have Bobby Tincher rejoin the race. That's the scenario that Weishart is in, or Slaughter rather, I suppose. Both of them.
Yeah.
And now the 0-3 is going to clear the 8 with the outside lane.
Wineland did undercut again. It's a little earlier, but he is once again pitting a little early, so he will get a jump.
He pit on exactly the 40th lap of his run. So that meant that he basically pit on lap 39 the first time and lap 40 the second time.
Oh, here comes Slaughter and Munsell.
Right on time.
Not speed.
And this is, again, splitting this race into equal thirds. That's going to maximize your tire life. We're seeing about 4 or 5 tenths of fall off. It's not as much as it certainly could be. So, I don't know. I mean, this isn't like Indianapolis, like we saw a crazy fall off in the Cup Series race where it was 3, 4, 5 seconds.
It was fall off I'm seeing. At least the first run for John Hall was about 1 second of fall off. His fastest lap, his second stint on tires was a 30.9, and he's fallen off about 1.5 seconds off of that. So there is some decent fall off, but it wasn't enough to where the overcut was so powerful that he just took the lead easily. He had to fight for it. It doesn't look like either of those drivers took 2 tires. So Slaughter was not willing to risk that. I think he was happy with leading and knew he didn't need to try that. As the leaders once again stay out a little bit longer, Balliet and Anna Sogak and Therian will come in. two drivers there who need the win. And here comes the third, and Jacob Bell.
Yeah, Bell's not having a winning night.
These drivers, sorry to cut you off, but these drivers would be the ones to maybe try too. You don't have to take a lot of fuel, would save more time. Unlikely to work, but see if they try something.
See how long John Hall sticks this out for. He's only on lap 34 of his run, so he needs to go another 2 or 3. And he's coming right now.
Yep.
So he learned
surprising.
what we pointed out, where he went too long last time. He's going to shorten it up.
Matheson.
And
both
Matheson.
of them. And Vector was even faster. No 2 tires from that camp that just came down, so it doesn't look like anyone needing the risk it's going to try it. Oh, we got a spin. Someone's in the grass on the front straightaway. Was it Sam Fontaine? It is Fontaine.
Wow. Doing donuts down there. How did he end up there?
Not quite sure, but he's going to keep it green. I think everyone who stayed out was hoping, please come up the track, but didn't work.
Let's have a look at the Simrat Market replay here. What? Just got in the
wall.
wall. And
Wineland had nowhere to go.
It's a big infield down there, thankfully. Almost ran into the trucks on pit lane.
And Wineland has that's a shame. Wineland has pretty big right front damage from that as well. And he had already pit. So that's going to hurt him even more.
Wrong place, wrong time for the 21.
For sure.
So as the field continues to cycle here, John Hall's back on the road. Race fans, head over to simratmarket.com for custom iRacing paint scheme templates that are simple and easy to use, so it keeps you more focused on the racetrack. And of course, rickshotsauce.com. Make sure you check them out for some of the best hot sauces made locally in South Florida. Try the Loxahatchee Classic, Golden Garlic, Palm Beach Pineapple, or South Beach Heat. Make sure you keep an eye on that Rick's Hot Sauce Rookie of the Year battle in the Area Cup Series. $100 prize for the highest finishing rookie in the point standings. That's currently none other than Jake Matheson.
Shocking.
Yeah. He's had a heck of a year.
Sure has. On both series he's running as Here Comes Scioli and Curhan. They went a little bit longer, but they'll both come down. Still waiting on the 50, the 74, the 71 will be the next 3 to come down.
Curhan went... Scioli went 35 laps, which is about what John Hall did.
He's on the same strategy, but he was further back.
So
as Hall is already on Justin Munsel's rear bumper.
Yeah, so the leader is going to cycle to be Bronson Stafford, but there's Brad Slaughter right behind. And he's got a fairly sizable advantage over Justin Munsell, and that tire difference between Slaughter and Munsell, or passing pit lane, give me a moment. 6 laps old tires for Brad Slaughter and 3 laps for John Hall. 3 laps different and a 3-second advantage. I'm liking that call by Brad Slaughter. This could let him win this race.
And he came down the same time as Munsell, so he must have done a great job getting in and out of pit lane as well, as he takes what will be the effective lead from Bronson Stafford. So whatever he did, he really gained big time, and that could be huge.
So 40 seconds in the lane, 14 in the box. 41 seconds in the lane, 14.8 in the box. And yeah, you're right. And there's probably even more time on the entry and exit outside of the pit lane boundaries. So Brad Slaughter won big, and this would drastically shift this cut line and in big danger for David Weishart, his teammate.
Yeah,
and one
not
out, one
what
in.
He wants to see.
No.
He already pit, so he can't really hope for to just get cycled out to the lead lap because of a yellow now. He's actually 2 down, just waiting for the leaders to cycle out. He is really hoping. You hate to root against a teammate, but he sure is right now.
Well, he's led almost the most laps of this race. Weishart led 25. Have that laps led point in there for Weishart? Does that change the number?
I believe I have it in there.
What about most laps led? Assuming Slaughter doesn't lead the rest of this race.
If Slaughter doesn't lead the rest of this race, it's going to be John Hall, looks like.
Well, Weishart's got 25 laps led.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
But the problem is if John Hall passes Brad Slaughter, then he would be the one to lead the most laps.
That lap for Weishart, if Slaughter finishes second, that point would come in handy for Weishart, but we'll see how long it really takes for John Hall to get up there and battle. It looks like Lakatos is in now. I believe Ryan Nowicki came in last time around, so this will cycle the lead back to Brad Slaughter Jr.
A turn 4, and he is going to take the lead now, and he'll lead that lap as well. And 30 laps to go next time by, and a 2.6 second lead. He's doing everything he has to do And if he comes up one spot short, it's not going to do it, Connor. He needs to win this race.
And you can bet he is going to fight hard to try to get this position as well. So this is going to be a dogfight to the end as long as this goes green. If it doesn't go green, we get a restart. It's going to be even more of a dogfight in that case. Could be tight.
And this is playing out so much like yesterday's race, where it's just looking very different now than it did. Look at Travis Beckner, going to feel like Superman on fresh tires around the outside of Bronson Stafford. Might not be able to win this race, but oh man, wow, what was that all about?
I don't know.
Was there something that preceded that? He's driving like a man possessed tonight.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Right on board. This is the half lap before that. Bronson Stafford back on pit lane. Driving the lane here.
It's his 3 stop.
And then this. Huh.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about.
Maybe something happened earlier in the race, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, must have missed something, that's for sure.
Lap 93. Slaughter taking him away, 15 minutes away from transitioning out of the cut line to the next round of the playoffs. A caution would ruin his life right about now.
Yeah, I think he wants this green. I think he wants to battle this out under green. I do not think he wants to have a restart where we might see those other playoff drivers try some strategy.
Slaughter. Is he sweating? He looks shiny. I think he is sweating.
I would be. I would hate to be in this scenario.
Look at the sweat dripping down the side of his face. He has got this thing absolutely ripping. 1.7 seconds back to John Hall. John's gaining 0.3 a lap. He's going to catch him. There's plenty of time. The question is, can Brad outrace him? He gave it everything he had on that first run and almost kept the lead at that 40-lap mark. Long way to go, though.
Long way to go for sure. Trying to update the points best I can. Curhan is actually the last one in on points as they run. Weishart's 6 back. Just hope. Slaughtered wants his green. David Weishart, he's trying to see if he's in a lucky dog position. He is not. Case Lakatos is, so he needs multiple yellows to happen soon.
And Curhan's dropped down the order to 13th place. He's on fresher tires, so should go forward a bit. It's the 8's now working behind traffic. This is not going to be helpful.
No, the dirty air from Lakatos is really going to slow him down. John Hall's going to get within a second here.
The problem is Lakatos has fresher tires.
So he's going to be in front of him for a long time. And I think, trying to see who else, someone was behind Slaughter as well. It's Greg Mitchell who got back on track after Alt F4. I don't think that's allowed after we saw that at Phoenix with Yusuf Ghali.
I'm not sure that there's a whole lot of strategy behind it either, because he's 32 laps behind Bobby Tinch. I don't know that he can even gain a spot.
Is he perhaps waiting on a certain someone?
Oh, that's an interesting thought. How long has he been on track for?
I saw him join back not too long ago. Trying to look back. He did not get on track too long ago. He got on track maybe 3 or 4 laps ago.
Keeping tabs on scores. Maybe Greg Mitchell is about to make a withdrawal. So 0.7 of a second is the difference. There is just over 20 laps to go. This is looking less and less like Brad Slaughter Jr. is going to be able to outrace John on pace alone. He's going to have to fight him. Now the question becomes, do you lay hands on the 0-3? John Hall is good.
Yeah.
He's good. He's locked into the next round. So if you take out the 0-3, you're fine. You take out the 3rd place truck, Jake Matheson, you're fine. You've got 2 trucks behind you that are moving on. Both of them are teammates. I mean, Connor, how ugly do you make this?
You got to do anything you can. You do everything but intentionally wreck him, basically. You have to get physical if he's going to be faster than you to the end here. If you usually don't want to make enemies, especially playoff enemies, this is a situation where all bets are off, and he's fighting that truck as it looks like Rick Mitchell came down the pit lane. So maybe, well, I don't know who that was, so we'll have to follow. It was Mitchell, so never mind that. But you got to get physical. You got to do anything you can. Enemies for the next 3 races after this are completely out the window if you can win this race. You're just happy to be in the playoffs if you can make it. And he's about to get that lap, or at least primitively that point for maybe most laps led. So that's important to try to lead as many laps here in this battle as well. And he might even gets spun and he might wreck himself trying to get this. He has to try everything.
He is sweating and working hard behind the wheel. John Hull's only got 3 lap fresher tires. I don't think that's a big enough difference that Brad Count outdrive. He's just going to have to wear him out and just burn time. That's how he's going to win this race. If he's going to win it, he just has to keep John Hall working harder than him.
But it's going to be a tough one to do.
Oh, he drove in there hard, John Hall did.
They're side by side for third with the 52 and 28. Don't think they'll play a factor in this race for the win unless it gets physical, which it very well could be. Stat from Carter Coop, 8 races at Kansas in area history, 8 different winners.
Has either of these two won a race? Because I think we're going to keep it that way.
No, for sure John Hall hasn't. I'm sure Carter will let us know if Slaughter has. He didn't win a truck race here, for sure.
So Brad's doing everything he's got to do. Stand on the high side here. Keep him momentum. He's burning up laps. Mathematically, John should have been by him already. So he's already doing what he needs to do. But to do it 19 more revolutions, this is going to be hard work.
It almost seems like impossible work. But if he can battle John Hall hard enough and get the 03's tires even with his, then it becomes much more possible. That's kind of what let the 03, that kind of made the 03 get to the lead last run. It made it a lot harder for him to get there. His tires equaled out. His advantage was not as big. And it's even less of an advantage tire-wise this time. So if Brad Slaughter can wear his tires out and even them out, he's going to be in a much better position.
Well, he's keeping him at arm's length right now. 0.3 of a second was the differential about 3 laps ago. And so he's stalled out the 03. Can John Hall drive around it? We have yet to see, but this is exactly what Brad needs to do. I mean, this is bottom of the 9th. And you're up to bat, bases loaded. I mean, this is what Brad Slaughter has to do to win this race, is get up in front of the 03, lap like you've never lapped before, and just click off laps.
Nothing else to it, no doubt about it. Michael Curhan, he's still trying to follow through. He is up to 12th. That puts Jacob Bell in a dire situation. Back to 13th as those newer tires finally come to the front. He'll pass Mason Kane for 11th. Obviously going to be too late. This has worked out much better, this strategy for Scioli, who's up to 6th out of nowhere.
Was the attacking driver last night that won the race after an intense 15-lap battle to the stripe?
It's even more intense this time.
Well, there's so much more on the line. Last night, both drivers were effectively locked. Tonight, only one of the two is. How bad do you want it?
And how bad will John Hall fight him for it? How physical would John Hall risk getting for a win against someone who you could knock out by winning this race? Would you lay fenders on them if you're John Hall and risk having them as an enemy?
I don't want to knock someone out that's got nothing to race for.
Because you give them something to race for. It's getting further and further alongside out of the exit of the corners is John Hall.
Just like we saw with Curhan last night, just chipping away at it lap after lap.
What are those laps led looking like for Slaughter compared to John Hall? Because that's the only driver he's going to have to fight off. He's going to get that point, so that's going to make it really tight with Weishart if he can get that point.
He needs to lead this lap, because if he loses, I mean, otherwise John Hall will get it. So this is the last lap that Brad Slaughter will need to lock that in. It's going to be close, but I think Brad's going to grab it. So that's a very important point. I still don't think it's going to matter if he doesn't win this race, though.
We'll see. You know what? I didn't give him the bonus point for leading a single lap either, so maybe that'll play in a factor. Trying to keep the points as live as possible. We don't know what they will be with Slaughter in second until he falls back, because right now, him winning, Weishart out by 7 behind Michael Curhan. He is not catching the 24 anytime soon. Hall slides up the track. This is going to be a tight one. He does not fully commit.
Going to try, and Brad's got a great run here to defend. He just has to keep overlap. He just has to keep the truck wound up on the outside lane.
And he led that lap, so if it comes down to it, he does have most laps led locked up, barring a green-white checker.
Oh, this is going to be a good opportunity for John Hall, but he didn't get a very good exit. This is exactly the situation we saw last night that this racetrack lends itself to. John, back to the bottom. If he can clear this day, I think this is over. But he's not going to, and he's going to lose some ground here out of 4, I think.
This is what we're talking about, evening out the tires. This is huge if he can figure out how to wear the 03's tires out right now.
I mean, the 0-3's got to do the hard work on the bottom. The 8's just kind of running his line up top. The one thing Brad Slaughter cannot do is slip. If he hits the wall, game over, and you strike out.
And especially not because he needs to at least keep second, barring the points that he might gain for second, because Jake Matheson is gaining as well. He's 1.2 back. So if it comes down to it, he's got to make sure he gets everything he can. Hall had the lift there. That was a big lift.
And Brad's going to clear him. 11 laps to go. And remember, he caught him with 20 laps to go, and he still has not passed him. So he just has to keep doing what he's doing, and that bought him maybe 3, maybe 4 laps.
That's huge as well. But I think that shows John Hall is not trying to do anything dirty to the 8. He's trying to race him clean. He lifted maybe all the way out of the gas to avoid putting him into the wall. They battle hard like this. We can't count out Jake Matheson. He's now almost within a second for this race win, and he could tear the heart out of Brad Slaughter instead as caution's out.
Oh, man. Eric Wineland crashes.
Oh my goodness.
And Brad Slaughter.
And Mason Kane just said over the radio that was all him. Weishart will not get a lucky dog out of this.
Oh, man, the disappointment on Brad Slaughter's face. This is not what he needed.
That's going to be what's big for Weishart is that's going to put Kane to the back.
It will. That was not awesome, was it?
No. I noticed out of turn 4, I saw he gave him a bump out of 4.
That was
and
ugly.
then just turns him out of 2.
Yeah. He apologized.
All right, pit entry.
Didn't super look like he did that accidentally, to be honest.
Who does what? Pit strategy-wise. Oh! Matheson got spun on pit entry.
Wow. That's
from
huge.
Beckner.
Uh-oh. That's his teammate.
Yeah. Beckner, another enemy, is his teammate. Doesn't look like anyone lead lap stays out.
Oh, that was a big mistake there by Travis.
That was.
Well,
I mean, that happens when the leader speeds up and stops. That will always happen. Ooh, looks like Munsell missed his stall just barely.
I think you got to take 4 tires. I think that's your strategy, the only one.
I think so too, but I think we're seeing 2 tires.
Yep.
Shane Therian, he needs a win. I don't blame him for taking 2. And Curhan takes 2, and Slaughter came out behind John Hall. Oh my goodness, I am shaking. This is so crazy. I can't even
We
hide
did not
it.
expect this to get this interesting, but Brad Slaughter Jr. is going to restart 5th behind 3 trucks with 2 tires and 1 truck with 4. And that 1 truck with 4 is John Hall.
I'm kind of shocked Curhan took 2. I think he was in a decent enough points position. He was only 6 ahead, but he was gaining spots on fresher tires. So that's a little surprising that he did that to me. It's crazy that that's completely taken Matheson out of this race. So if you know, with the fresh tires early in this race, you saw that how much of a pack race it was. We're going to see that again. And when it becomes a pack race, teammates are important. You would have had 3 Miller Racing trucks up there. Instead, you only have 2.
What's our point scenario look like right now with...
I'm working on it.
I'm just curious with the 31 down the order in 19th, how this is going to change the calculus. Obviously, we're not going to finish in this order, almost guarantee it. But, I mean, Scioli leads. I mean, I think this is not a green-white checkered. I think 4 tires is worth it, but...
Yeah.
Gosh, I don't want to start row 3. That's where Brad Slaughter is going to be, is that 3rd row. And he has just got to be worn out. I mean, he is sweating. He is putting every ounce of energy he has available into this race. And honestly, he might have won that race. He had about a 50-50 shot, maybe a 70-30.
Yeah, it was looking really good for him, for sure.
See the nervousness, too. He's just nervousness and frustration, I think. He feels like it's already lost. But you can't get yourself in the mind games, Connor. You still have 7-6 laps to get it done, and you just got to go to work.
Let's not forget, Mason Kane's going to be 19th, but also because everyone came down to pit road, no one stayed out. This will put David Weishart back on the lead lap.
Oh, that's critical for him.
And he's got drivers he can get for position as well. As far as I know, I have the points updated as they run. Therian is barely in as they run over Slaughter.
So if Therian has a crash, maybe this works out in the 8's favor, but if not, time to go to work.
Sure is. And everyone gets to wave around James Scioli. He's had a terrible truck season. All of a sudden, he could maybe get a win. Oh, last week he took 2 tires, and John Hall took him, got him for the win. But now this is different. This could be a much crazier finish.
Well, Travis Beckner has been a little bit of a loose candidate tonight, but he's going to restart next to Brad Slaughter Jr. I don't think that's exciting for Brad. But could that 28 steal one away, too? Let's not count him out just yet. I mean, give me 4 tires and an angry Travis Beckner and a 6 lap to go restart, and it's really hard to bet against him.
Yeah, you don't want to bet against him. But also, if he gets to Therian, you can't forget their history.
Therian definitely remembers.
I'm sure he does.
So race distance left, 6 laps to go. If we get another caution, we will be going into overtime. Unless maybe we get it immediately, then we might not, but I think we will. Pace truck pulls off. Scioli's the control truck on the bottom, and the Rick's Hot Sauce Tundra. 3rd row inside. Brad Slaughter Jr. needs to win to move on. Let's see what he's got. He's going to try to get launched. Bit of a checkup there, and we're back underway. 6 laps to go.
Kind of cause a stack up. Bell's going to go 3 wide to the apron. He needs something big to happen himself.
Oh, that almost didn't work.
Scioli's clear. Here comes Curhan. Here comes Hall 3 wide to the top side. What does Slaughter do with Curhan? He's looking to the apron. Scioli to the middle. They made contact in the middle between the 38.
That ain't gonna work, boys. No way.
We hit the 24.
Slaughter to the middle. How does he doing this? Middle 4 wide for the 8.
He's clear of the 38, but the John Hall's to his outside.
3 wide for 2nd. 5 laps to go. It is pandemonium in the field behind him. Oh,
Slaughter,
big crash.
Big crash. Who else is in it?
Slaughter is 2nd.
Ooh. Someone else piled in. It was Weishart. Weishart piled in with big damage.
Wow.
Holy cow.
That was about the most perfect situation that the 8 could have put himself in other than lead this race.
He's going to be, it depends what lane Scioli picks and who gets to jump between him and John Hall. 4 wide at Kansas, this will always happen,
man.
and it was him and Joey Chapman.
Gosh, Joey Chapman got obliterated there.
And then Weishart comes in late. I couldn't see. It looked like some maybe other playoff drivers on the bottom. Balliet, Mason Kane. Not sure how much contact they had, as well as Matheson.
Benesac in it. Ryan Swan, Eric Wineland is going to sneak through there, I think. But the 60 was just kind of running his line and just gets cleared across. I mean, Bell thought he was clear and was not. Bam. Oh, that is a big, big crash for Chapman.
Huge hits.
Yeah. Bam.
Jacob Bell was on the way bottom just trying to do anything he could to get up to the front. Maybe try to steal a win himself. And it just won't work out. He looked like he lifted out of his move, actually, from the bottom, tried to come up, and Chapman was there.
Yeah, I don't think the 60 did anything wrong.
I don't think anyone did. That's just a product of how crazy that got. Yeah. That restart was nuts.
I mean, how about this? This is what we were looking at out of turn 2. Look at the 8 into the middle. I cannot believe this. We didn't crash up front here. I thought the 8 was going to hook the 24 right there.
He almost did. They actually did make a tiny bit of contact. They've called that a racing deal. That's one I fully agree with.
I mean, the 8 put himself in a great spot here.
Oh, man.
And while the crash was happening right here, the 8 was about to shoot the gap there. But I actually think the caution might have helped him because the 0-3 was up alongside him.
Yeah.
And now I think Brad's going to have a better line because he's probably going to get put on the outside and give him room to race. But
it really, because Scioli could pick the top, and that would box John Hall in behind Brad Slaughter. I don't think they're teammates. They might be on the Pro Series side, but I don't think that matters. But if that's what Slaughter's hoping for, if he's hoping for the 7 to pick the top, because if he picks the bottom, John Hall likely gets the better jump.
Yeah. We're going to be in overtime now. Lap 120 was our scheduled distance. And we'll be going to lap 122.
These playoffs, I mean, my goodness, it is tight. It is 3 points between Weishart and Slaughter. If Weishart destroyed, Brad has to. He could point in. Well, no, he can't. See if Weishart.
He's still
gets
running.
back on track.
He is running 21st.
That is important.
It's actually running better than he was when he was a lap down. And that truck is actually not too bad, all things considered.
Yeah, so unless he loses positions, which I don't think is going to happen, he might get away with this, but he needs the 8 to not get by the 7, or he needs John Hall to step up.
I mean, as you said, one of the two is not going through.
Certainly not now. Weishart would have needed to get through that and get more points. We could always see a crash really alter things if we get the white as well, or even before it at that. And Scioli just said he is taking the top.
So it's going to put the two that are battling for the win on the bottom of the racetrack. Maybe Scioli can win with the 2 tires. I just think that the 4 is worth more because when it comes to that last lap dive that you're going to inevitably have to do, you're going to want those fresh tires.
Yeah, for sure. But Brad Slaughter he's going to have to send a Christmas card to Scioli if this works out for it, because that is so important to box John Hall in. But this gives Travis Beckner from 4th himself a chance on 4 tires to get the jump, and we know what Travis will do for any win.
Brad's wiped the sweat off, refocused. Doesn't look enthused, but doesn't look like he's panicking. So let's see what he's got. Front row restart, 2 laps to go. He wins this race, he advances on to the next round of the playoffs. He loses this race, going home.
Weishart's 19th. Everyone else, there's 23 trucks on the lead lap. Bryce Senesak's 2 back off the track. So Brad, there's no pointing in here unless something crazy happens. He needs this.
2 laps, 3 miles. If the caution comes out, the race is over if we get to the white. Well, better get your boxing gloves on here because it is going to be all hands on deck. Here we go. 2 laps left at Kansas Speedway, the Area Truck Series playoffs, the first of the elimination rounds. Green flag, and the 7 gets a great jump.
8's clear for 2nd, but he did not get a great jump. He has to protect John Hall here on the bottom.
John's trying to stick the nose up the inside. And of course, we've got Travis Beckner up here as well.
Slaughter.
The 8 to the inside.
He's got the lead. He's going to get the lead in case they crash.
Down the back straightaway, nose ahead. He's through. If the field wads it up, Brad Slaughter moves on to the next round of the playoffs. White flag will be dangling in the air. Here comes the 0-3. He throws the block. We're going to make it. White flag, 1 to go.
He's got to have all blocks. He's got to have everything go his way here. He cannot let the 0-3 get to his inside. I think you can get away with giving him the high side. Do not give him the inside. You got to protect that white line.
The 7 boxing in the 0-3. Not really anywhere for him to go. Balliet goes for a big move 3 wide into the final couple of corners. The 0-3 drives it in deep, but he's not going to get there, I don't think, unless he can get there out of 4. Checkered flag. Do this. Brad Slaughter in the bottom of the 9th hits a home run, a grand slam. He moves on to the 2nd round of the playoffs and wins at Kansas. How did he do that?
Unbelievably clutch. That is incredible. And we made it green to the end. Holy cow.
That is bottom of the 9th baseball right here. And the excitement, you can see it on his face. There's the 28 passing by.
That it was incredibly clutch. I can't say that enough.
I mean, he had to go up there and win it. He couldn't just passively throw defense like he was doing. He had that race lost and stole it back again. That will kick David Weishart out, and his playoff run will end here.
Almost certainly. Still trying to update it just to be sure, but I don't think there's any scenario where he made it through, and it just, that speeding penalty, Beckner was able to have the yellow to recover from it. Weishart did get one. Beckner didn't have it last night, but Weishart had it late, but got caught up in the big one.
And he's going to celebrate. That might be one of the most impactful wins he's going to have. Let's go back and look at it again. I mean, he just played this to perfection. I mean, once he had gotten ahead of the 0-3 and 7, it was just a matter of hitting his marks. Didn't leave the 0-3 any lane to use. And goes off into the corner. But I think the clutch part of this, the most important part of his night was not this moment. It was prior. Watch this again on the back straightaway. This is how Brad Slaughter put himself in position to win this race. It wasn't the move later we saw right here, middle 4 wide. That was the move that put him in position to win.
And Curhan tried to block it a little bit, and Theron tried to box him in. He knew we had to make this move, though, because John Hall had a clear track on the high line, so he had no choice but to bully his way through there. So that was incredibly clutch. But not only this, but the 15 to 20 laps he held John Hall behind him was incredibly important as well, as the crash happens behind him. Hall got it on pit road on positioning, but it really ended up being a blessing for the 8. But holding him off for all those laps was also exceptionally important.
Look at your race results. Points have been updated out of the playoffs. David Weishart. I don't know if this is updated quite yet.
I think I have mine updated at least.
Let's check those first because there you go. Weishart, Anasogak, Bell, and Poole out. Therian in by 4 points. Balliet stays in. Kane stays in. Curhan, Beckner, Slaughter, Matheson, Hall. Moving on.
And we talked about at the beginning of the race, 3rd through 8th, we're only separated by 9 points coming in tonight. And if we got that winner below the cut line, it was going to be crazy between those 6, and it got crazy for sure. And Weishart is that odd man out.
And that red, change that to a green. He's locked in and moving on to the next round at Iowa. Then John Hall comes up just short. And fair racing by John Hall. He had the opportunity to end that battle earlier than he did. But James Scioli, I think, saved Brad Slaughter there. The way that he raced him at the end, fair and clean, and put them all in great spots. Shane Therian rebounds for a top 10. All great results here as we move on to the next page. Eric Wineland, you in a top 20 after all that he went through tonight. Not so bad.
Yeah, he's upset about it, though, I can tell you that. And we didn't really notice it, but just Anasogak somehow got a top 5 out of nowhere. He got 5th, but just wasn't enough for him. And no playoff drivers really in the middle, besides Matheson, who had to recover after the spin from his teammate, the bump from his teammate on pit entry. It ruined his race. Mason Kane also really never had a good run. He was really not in the top 10 most of the night. But David Weishart is going to be the most disappointed. 19th place. He was a top 5 truck, but the speeding penalty doomed him. And Jacob Bell, unfortunately, also did not have the speed to contend for that win to make it in.
Well, James Scioli not competing in the playoffs, but manages a 3rd place tonight. And, the action, James, was all around you at the end there. Restarted in the lead on 2 tires. I'm not sure it was quite going to plan out for a win, but you steal a 3rd out of that amidst the fierce battle between Brad Slaughter Jr. and John Hall for the win. What did you see from your cockpit there on that last restart?
Yeah, it was a pretty good race, and I tried the last to first challenge, made it to 5th, and we were kind of all closing in on the leaders there with about 10 to go, and then the yellow came out, so I just knew I was just going to try and get the track position and see how it worked. And unfortunately there, I wanted the top on the restart I didn't want the car right behind me to be able to get a huge run into turn 1. So I figured I'd take the top and then clear down and see what I could do. But John and Brad just stayed hooked up so long that there wasn't really much I could do. I gave them the bottom, and I think if Brad wouldn't have been able to clear me on entry, I think that was the move, would have been to give him the bottom like that, and then I could have just pinched him and tried to race him kind of how I did John. But unfortunately, they were just so hooked up that even if I took the bottom, Brad was just going to go around my outside into 3. So unfortunately, not much I could do there. Been a while since I won one of these things, so I was hoping that was going to be it. But not too bad starting last and finishing 3rd.
James Scioli, 3rd place tonight in the number 7. James, nice run in that Rick's Hot Sauce Toyota. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys. Want to give a huge shout out to you guys for capturing all these awesome battles and photo finishes and stuff we've been having lately. There have been some good finishes, so big shout out to you guys. Thanks to the admin team, and then shout out Sky Motorsports and rickshotsauce.com. Code Skyly, get you $7 off there, and Flat Out Racing Network. And we'll try and win one on Thursday.
We'll see you there, James. Thanks for chatting.
Thanks, guys.
And John Hall comes home in 2nd place. And John, you were locked in. You didn't need to win that race, but you gave it all you had. And a fair fight between you and Brad Slaughter, cut short by a yellow flag, and then all hell breaks loose with the strategy, that ensuing restart, trucks everywhere. You come home 2nd, a 10th back. Happy, satisfied, or wish you could have gotten that other win?
That last run, I knew I had a shot at Brad really good there. I just couldn't quite set him up off 2, but yeah, I would have liked to see that go green. But that's racing, it happens. Congrats to Brad for winning his way in the next round. That's awesome for him. Yeah, kind of stinks. We kind of overshot the strategy a little bit for the first pit stop, and then that kind of set up Brad to pit right as soon as we got back to him. So hate it for Miller Racing guys. We kind of had it there and had a little bit of a miscue, but we're going to reset and be good for round 2.
Iowa and Auto Club round 2. You won your way through at Bristol. Another short track coming up next week, sorta. Can you win there and move on to that final round?
We'll see. I don't know. Iowa's been a funky one for me. Honestly, I have circled Auto Club as probably one of my better track out of the 2, so we'll see what happens.
I like it too.
Oh yeah. That one especially is going to be a lot of fun, so looking forward to that.
Thanks, John. Appreciate your time. Congratulations on a top 3. See you next week.
Thank you very much, guys. Have a good one.
You too. Well, Brad Slaughter Jr., how about bottom of the 9th, bases loaded baseball there? That was fun to watch. Brad, you had to race your way in, and you did just that. Took a big swing at it, and you thought maybe for a moment that your race was over when that caution flag came out. We could see the disappointment on your face. Came down pit lane, came out 5th. That restart, you went middle 4 wide off into turn 3, somehow came out the other side 2nd, and then you go and win the race on the next restart. You've got to be just totally enthused. I know it's a little bittersweet with your teammate getting knocked out, but man, you've got the sweet tooth and a sugar rush tonight. You win the race.
I am in shock. I mean, that's what we needed. I mean, I walked around all day today telling myself, I was like, it's win or nothing. I mean, win or absolutely nothing, go home. I mean, I raced with a little bit different mentality tonight that I haven't raced with in a long time. Just don't roll over for anybody. I raced everybody tooth and nail as hard as I could. If I burned the right front off, I would have burned the right front off. I was going to be the leader as much as I could, no matter what, all night tonight, and it paid off. It worked out. Yeah, to walk it off like that too. I was just looking at the points. I'd have been out by 2 points if I didn't win right there. So, yeah, I mean that's the most clutch thing I've ever done. I mean, I'm normally good to goof that up, and like you said, whenever that caution came out, I thought that was it. I thought I had just done enough to hold John off to bring it home there, and that yellow come out, and I was like, I didn't think there was any way. I knew we were going to have guys staying out and 2 tires and stuff like that, and I didn't think there was any way we would get back up there without yellows, and worked out perfect. Wow. Hats off to John. John was super fast tonight. Had me sitting over here shaking, sweating, convulsing, everything. And wow, that's awesome, man. That's cool. I'm pretty happy with that, and we go on. I don't even know where the next race is. I've been so focused on tonight. Got no idea, but I'm ready to go. Ready
Iowa.
to get there.
Iowa Auto Club up next.
I'm not as excited as I thought I was, but we'll practice. We will get better.
Yeah, that was my next question for you is you made it in by the skin of your teeth tonight. Iowa Auto Club up next. I mean, obviously you're hoping to go into that Final Four maybe with less of a stressful situation. How confident are you now? Does this win boost your confidence heading into those next 2 weeks?
Definitely boosts the confidence. Definitely, especially at a track where you really got to. I won in Atlanta earlier this year, but that was really just hold the wheel and pray. I actually felt like I did something tonight. So yeah, it definitely helps the confidence a lot. Iowa's not normally one of my better tracks. I think I can probably tidy it up and get something decent there. But Auto Club feel really good about. Auto Club's always been a good track for me, so feel really good about that and being a cutoff race. Maybe we go walk it off again. I hope we're not in that situation, but the 5 bonus points from tonight will definitely help the situation with the reset.
Well,
sure.
it was an exceptional race to watch, and Brad, it is a bit of a special night for us. Tonight is the 6th year, officially, starting now, that we've been in operation on SimTV. 6 years ago in 2018 was our first broadcast ever. So you win on year 6. Congratulations, and hope to see you do it again next week.
Well, congratulations to y'all. I actually I feel partly responsible. I think I was part of the connection between y'all and getting y'all over here to area. So that's awesome to have y'all here, and glad y'all been here as long as you have, and glad you stuck around. I hope you're here for a lot longer.
We hope so.
Yeah, thank you guys, and shout out to everybody watching. All my teammates were awesome tonight. Bobby was really helping me stay tuned in there the last probably 20 laps or so, trying to keep my nerves down. So all the teammates, shout out to them, DWR boys, and like I said, everybody tuned in. Grandparents, love y'all, and we'll see you at Iowa.
Brad Slaughter Jr. wins at Kansas and advances to round 2 of the Truck Series playoffs. Brad, thanks a lot, congratulations, and good luck next week.
Yep, we'll see y'all next week.
Connor, what a race, what a battle. Look at your points again, leaving the night. John Hall, Matheson, Slaughter up at the top, but Weishart, Anasogak, Bell, and Poole, their run ends here.
That's unbelievable. I don't think, at least in my time helping you broadcast area, I've seen a cut line come down to that. That was incredible. Slaughter was at the front the entire race. He was really the only guy on that cut line that had the pace to win all night long, and he pulled it off. The definition of him in area is clutch. He, I believe, in his latest Truck Series championship went winless all season, made it to Nashville in the Final Four, and just won that thing. That was his second truck championship. He's still chasing a third after, once again, another clutch win where he wasn't going to advance without it. Second place wasn't going to be good enough. I can't say enough about how clutch he was. That's why he's the most decorated truck driver in area history. 2 championships, 12 wins, the all-time leading mark. And it's for reasons like that, for races like that. He just gets it done when it matters the most. How big was that?
And he got it done tonight on the 6th year of operation here on Sim TV. We start year 6.
I've been here for like 4.
Yeah, long enough, that's for sure. It's been a long time coming. We're not stopping anytime soon. The summer gets hard. You're going to see a decrease as the summer rolls on, but Ariel will be with us all year long. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next week at Iowa, but we've got one more round this week. I won't be there on Thursday. It'll be Finney and DeCuna leading the show with Connor and Hunter on Thursday. That's the Florida State Builders Area Pro Series right here from Kansas. We'll see you there on Thursday. Have a good night, everybody.